These are the top 10 best episodes of Attack on Titan. In our number 10 spot, we have the Warhammer Titan. Despite being the first episode on this list, it needs absolutely no introduction. In this episode, we're introduced to the Warhammer Titan for the first time, who goes at it with Eren for a while. When it seems like Eren is completely cornered, Mikasa and the rest of the scouts arrive to back him up. The rest of the episode features intense combat between Eren and Lara Tiber, and the scouts against the Marleyan military. Eren discovers that unfortunately for Lara, her Warhammer Titan isn't wireless and attempts to eat her in her crystallized form. It was a truly spectacular watch. Next we have Two Brothers. This episode is absolutely jam-packed with so many memorable moments. To name a few, we have Zeke screaming, resulting in every single person who had consumed Zeke's tainted wine turning into Titans. The subtle foreshadowing that Eren had plans of his own rather than going along with Zeke's idea, which would be revealed at the very end of the episode. And of course we have when Gabby shoots Eren, establishing herself as one of the most talented on FaZe's roster. The whole episode is just full on, and there's not a single moment where something interesting isn't going on. It's definitely one of the stronger episodes in the show. Declaration of War is an absolute masterclass as to how tension should be built in a piece of media. On one hand, you had Willy Tiber revealing the truth of the world to the Marleyans, essentially telling them that they had been lied to their entire lives. While on the other hand, the reunion of Eren and Reiner with the presence of Falco. This scene was done masterfully. Seeing Reiner quickly understand what Eren was doing in Marley, and then completely breaking down as a result, was one of the many reasons as to why Reiner is such a fan favorite. Falco's realization that he had actually been helping the enemy by sending out his letters was also executed very well. The episode ends with Eren transforming, eating Willy Tiber in the process, commencing the battle that would continue over the next few episodes. At number 7 is That Day. This episode shifts focus onto a character we know very little about at this point in the show, that being Eren's father, Grisha. Up until now, his character has been a total mystery. That all changes in this episode, with it being one of the most lore-heavy in the story. It starts with Grisha narrating the fateful day that completely changed his life and kicked off all the events we have seen up until this point. There's no opening song in this episode either, which is indicative of the tone of the episode as a whole. It's a very tragic and melancholic tale with emotional moments throughout. We learn all about the kind of place that Marley is and how Grisha got to the island, who gave him his Titan powers, and we find out that the Titan who ate Eren's mother was actually Grisha's first wife. Overall, an extremely memorable episode, and one that really starts to put the pieces of this jigsaw of a show together. In number 6, we have Assault. This episode is another one that speaks entirely for itself. It's quite easily one of the most eventful episodes in the entire show. So many significant things happen in just 20 minutes, yet every moment still felt like they got the attention and execution that they deserved. As the scouts are fighting off both the Cart and Jaw Titans, Eren has his own battle going on with the Warhammer Titan. As the Beast Titan arrives and things seem to be starting to get a little bit more risky, we see Armin transform into his Colossal Titan for the first time, completely destroying the Marleyan port. The way Armin was portrayed in the scene fit his character perfectly. Things then go completely downhill for Marley. The Jaw Titan gets used as a literal nutcracker so that Eren can consume the Warhammer Titan. It then ends right as Reiner transforms, perfectly setting up the next episode. Perfect Game shows us the Survey Corps at absolute rock bottom, being seemingly on the verge of defeat in this decisive battle. Eren and the others are out of options and desperately try to stop the might of the Colossal Titan, which results in Eren getting sidelined for a while. On the other side of the wall, Erwin, Levi, and the rest of the scouts are being bombarded by Zeke throwing boulders with deadly accuracy. Any hope left is completely gone when Erwin superficially admits defeat and accepts his death. Mustering all his courage, he roars into speech, rallying all his dejected comrades in a monologue that would become iconic. Filled with the passion and pure adrenaline, the scouts charge towards the Beast Titan in an act of self-sacrifice. The episode ends with a shot of Erwin getting hit by a boulder and falling off his horse, extinguishing any wishes the viewer may have had of him somehow coming out on top. It's a dark entry in the show, showing us the characters we have seen grow and develop a hair away from death and defeat, but it's this very fear put into us that makes it so engaging. In our number 4 spot, we have Memories of the Future. We follow Zeke and Eren traveling through the paths as Zeke tries to convince Eren that he'd been brainwashed by his father like he had. However, to everyone's surprise, it turned out that Eren was the mastermind behind everything and also was the one who manipulated his father into stealing the founding Titan from the Reese family, which was arguably one of the most mind-blowing plot twists in all of television. But not only that, seeing Grisha reunite with Zeke through Eren's memories, apologizing for all the hell hell that he put him through as a child was a very touching moment that I'm sure all Attack on Titan fans will remember for a very long time to come. Hero has been one of the highest rated episodes of any TV show for a very good reason, with jaw-dropping action scenes that carry extremely heavy emotional weight. Two of the most significant battles in the entire show happen on either side of the wall at the exact same time. Levi absolutely destroys the Beast Titan in quick fashion, which was one of the much stronger moments in the show in terms of animation. You could truly feel Levi's rage knowing that Erwin was most likely already dead. While this was happening, Armin attempts to sacrifice himself in order to buy time and let Eren sneak up to Berthold and defeat him. These heroic actions from some of the show's most popular characters are exactly why the episode gets its name and why it will forever be one of the greatest episodes of all time. In the number 2 spot, making it just shy of number 1, is From You 2000 Years Ago. This episode strips everything back to the very start, showing us the founder Ymir's backstory, essentially answering any and every question you could have regarding the origin of Titans. As a result of this, the episode feels like the accumulation of storylines and plot points all coming together at one time, leaving every single viewer completely perplexed. Eren then starts the rumbling, addressing every single subject of Ymir, informing them of what he plans to do. Since the outside world wants to exterminate every Eldian, he will use the power to trample every inch of the world beyond Paradise. Whether it was justified or not is one of the most debated subjects in AOT, so let me know in the comments what you guys think about it. It is without a doubt one of the most insane episodes on this list. Right before we get onto number 1, please consider subscribing. I'll be doing a face reveal at 100k subs, which we are super close to hitting, and if you made it this far into the video already, an extra couple seconds won't hurt. Anyway, back to number 1, and in our top spot we have Midnight Sun. Similarly to that day, this episode also has no opening song, which immediately gives the viewer no break from the previous action. While that day was filled with Grisha's narration, this episode is completely missing any. The reason for this is of course due to Armin being the narrator of the whole show, was that he was unable to speak of this episode due to him being unconscious right up until inheriting the Colossal Titan. Another aspect of the episode that makes it unique is the shift in perspective used. We're constantly switching between Levi and Eren, who have captured Berthold, and Hanji and Jan, who have captured Reiner. This results in a sort of standstill where communication is difficult given the environment is still hostile and dangerous. Flock arrives on the scene with a barely alive Erwin. However, with only one syringe to save someone and steal a Titan power, they're forced to choose between Erwin and Armin. It's a truly unique episode which still keeps tension and stakes high even after the vicious battle has ended, which is exactly why it deserves its spot at number 1.